Hello, how's it going? I'm back again. I want to look into a study about curbing carbon emissions and eating healthier and how it affects carbon emissions. First, I'd like to give thanks and recognition to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Without him, this wouldn't be possible. Without further ado, I'd like to look at this study that was co-authored by Tulane University researcher and published in the journal Nature Food. And it's saying that simple substitutions like switching from beef to chicken or drinking plant-based milk instead of cow's milk can reduce the average American's carbon footprint from food by 35%, which is also boosting diet quality between 4 and 10%. Now, I haven't gone over this in detail, I want to say, but just to base on that first comment, if you're switching from beef to chicken, and in regards to carbon footprint, does that just mean transportation of the food? Because if you live in Nebraska, Montana, and you're close to beef farms, what was Nebraska, corn? I don't know. I'm just going by the school's nickname, the university out there. I should know that. But let's say you live in Montana and Texas, where they produce a lot of beef and steer, right? If you're eating it there, Texas had large populations, so if you're eating beef there, that doesn't seem to be a huge carbon footprint unless how the food is processed has a heavy carbon footprint, but not transportation wise, as opposed to you're switching to chicken. And if they have more chicken farms in Maryland and then they do in Texas, and Texas has more beef farms, and switching to chicken would increase the carbon footprint as far as transportation. Again, I don't know how the foods are processed. Maybe the processing of the beef is very carbon emission intensive. I don't know. I'm just thinking that off the top of my head. I guess I'll find out further. So they say that these findings highlight the potential of small changes approach that researchers believe could encourage more consumers to adopt climate-friendly eating habits. They say food production accounts for 25 to 33% of the nation's greenhouse gas emissions, with beef production being a primary contributor. Again, I wonder how beef is processed then. Because anyway, I guess we'll go further down the article. So they say the study shows that cutting dietary carbon emissions is accessible when it doesn't have to be a whole lifestyle change. Okay, I mean, I guess that makes sense. So according to the senior author and nutrition program director at Tulane University School of Public Health and Tropical Medicine, it can be as simple as ordering a chicken burrito instead of a beef burrito when you go out to eat. Again, I see the logic here. I see what he's saying, but again, if you're in Texas where they produce a lot of beef, right? You're in El Paso and you order the beef burrito. Are there chicken farms close by? Or are you ordering the chicken from, like I said, Maryland, Virginia, or Mississippi, somewhere like that? Transportation, in regards to transportation, is going to produce a heavy carbon footprint, right? To produce the cars or the airplanes or the trains or whatever that transports those animals or that food, those leave a heavy carbon footprint. So I'm just curious. I haven't seen the details of this study, what they look at in regards to that, because I'm not one side or the other here. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate on in regards to this. Maybe it explains more later in the article. But I'm just thinking, just in general, right? Or is this like an overall study where they showed a reduction in carbon footprint if they switched to this food? I can see if you're in Maryland, you switch from beef to chicken because if your beef comes from Texas or your beef comes from Australia, right? That makes sense. But again, I don't know how holistic this is. These are just questions. I don't know. I'm not an expert, but just questions that pop in my head. Okay, so they say it can be as simple as ordering a chicken burrito or beef burrito. They say when you're at the grocery store, move your hand to grab soy milk or almond milk instead of cow's milk, and that small change can have a significant impact. I haven't heard good things about soy milk, especially for men. I heard it increases menstrual cramps in women, just soy in general. I don't know about the soy thing. I really don't. I don't know. And was it almond milk or oat milk? I saw a video or study that how oat milk or almond, I think it's oat milk, produced and it may not be as healthy as advertised. See, it makes me wonder how things are processed. Process. I don't know. I'm all over the place right now. Because if what's the point of reducing carbon emissions if you're better off, your body is acclimated to a different type of diet? Because all our bodies are different. I mean, it is regional as well as genetic, and people move around. So you want to have a happy medium in regards to eating the food that's most optimal for your personal health and reducing the carbon emissions. I don't know about this, again, soy, almond, oat, but yeah, some of us are lactose intolerant, so some of us can't take the whole milk either. Okay, but again, how is the carbon footprint reduced if you're close to a milk producing place or a lot of cows that produce milk? I don't know. It's, again, 1,000 questions. I'm not an expert. I'm just looking. I probably have to look into the study more. Okay, they say the study analyzed data from over 7,700 Americans and identified commonly eaten foods with the highest climate impact and simulated replacing them with nutritionally similar lower emission options. Okay, I see that. I wonder where the 7,700 Americans were and what commonly eaten foods were on the list and what's the climate impact on those. Is it processing and transportation together? Is it include the vehicles that emit carbon emissions that transport the food? I don't know. Is it like how much, what's all included in this calculation or study? I'm curious, right? So they say for substitutes, it includes swapping a beef burger for turkey burger, not exactly replacing your steak with a tofu hot dog. Okay, I mean, I've eaten all four of those, right? I'm open food connoisseur. I'm not limiting myself, but I have reduced a lot. I'm not a big beef eater, but I'm not against people who eat beef or anything like that. For some people, their body may be more acclimated to increasing beef, right? And it depends on where the beef is from and how it's processed, right? You can go to some places where the beef doesn't have as much effect on you as others because you see the cow growing, eating the natural grass, and maybe the cow doesn't look as steroid induced. I don't know, for lack of a better term. But yeah, I'm big on turkey burgers. Again, I mess around with my diet as well. They say the largest projected reductions in emissions were seen in mixed dishes, burritos, pastas, and similar popular dishes where it's easy to substitute a lower impact protein instead of beef. Yeah, I can see that because people do go out to eat in restaurants and have mixed dishes. I wonder how does that mesh with people who, let's say, because there are people out here who, now especially nowadays, people grow their gardens or they go to like a local farm and buy a cow, feed the family for the whole year, right? Put it in the freezer, deep freezer. I wonder about that. But I mean, I guess that's probably more a minority in general when contemplating a population of an entire nation. They say the study also expanded past research, including dietary data for children, whereas it may be more effective for an adult to focus on protein swaps. Yeah, switching for children, they say switching to plant-based milk can have a meaningful impact on carbon footprint for children. Okay, I don't know. What about the babies and the breast milk thing, right? That's a whole other topic people get into. Babies, breast milk, health. Again, all our bodies are different as individuals, as groups, as families, and the people move around a lot. So some diet, what diets may be good for this group may not be good for another group, or even down to an individual. Certain diets for certain individuals aren't the best, whereas others are better. It's because everybody has some type of something that their body just doesn't like when consuming. Of course, they say identifying healthy alternatives to the high carbon foods is not the intent of the study. Yeah, of course, it was focused on carbon emissions, but they say swapping lower carbon emission foods shows sizable improvements. I think you do have to take into account healthy alternatives and carbon emissions, right? Because if you're just focusing on carbon emissions, you still want to. What's the point in trying to stay focused on carbon emissions when your health is bad still? right? Something to think about. I could go on and on. There's a lot of overlap, they say, between diets and healthy diets, and what people eat and what's not good for them. But I could go on and on. I just want to thank you for reaching this far, and please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for your time.